Today, let's talk travel art supplies. I'm currently getting ready to leave to Europe to teach an incredible retreat with 16 subscribers, so I figured why not share with you guys everything I'm going to bring for the trip, and this will be things that I take to sketch on location or paint from life, and also I'll show you guys how I fit it in my bag. So let's get started. Whether you are an aspiring artist, avid sketcher, or someone looking to begin sketching out on location from life, figuring out what supplies to take can feel like a big dilemma. I've been doing this for a few years and I still sit and debate, what should I bring? How should I pack it? And that fear of not taking something or not having enough of something. But let's figure this out together and hopefully it'll help alleviate some pressure there. Let's face it, this is no easy task. Decide which ones to take and which ones to leave at home. And something that's helped me is to answer some questions. Number one, what is it that I intend to create and how am I going to set it up? 2, is there something specific that I want to explore or experiment with my supplies when I'm out on location? And 3, possibly the hardest question to answer, but the most important one is, how can I make it as easy as possible to just get started when I'm out on location? The last thing you want is to fiddle around and not get started in the first place because the setup is too complicated. So make your life as easy as possible and think about how you can set up as fast as possible to just create. Over some time, I narrowed this down quite a bit and it always alternates and changes. And I like to say it always is what works best for you. But let me show you what's been lately working for me and I hope that it'll help you too. There are 2 main kind of setups that I came up with and put together. One that's for urban sketching, mostly my sketchbook and maybe a board and some drawing supplies. And another is a whole easel setup in case I want to do some gouache or oil painting straight from plein air and straight from location. So let's jump in on the overhead view and I'll show you guys those 2. So here is the little kit that I have so far. It includes a sketchbook. It includes my pencil case that has all my drawing tools inside and this clear pouch that has some of painting equipment that I like to use when I'm out on location. So let's take a look inside of all of these and I'll go through it to show you guys what's inside. All right, let's begin with sketchbooks. I'm going to be taking a larger 7x10 watercolor cold pressed sketchbook. This one's by Pentalic. They were so kind to send this to me for our retreat, along with all of the girls are gonna get one of these, which I'm very excited to surprise them with. I'll share more of this in a later video, but also I am going to be taking a smaller square size with hot press paper so that I could do some drawing, but also some painting in case I just wanna throw this in my bag and not take a bigger one that day. Also, thanks to Etcher for sending these to me as well. All the girls are gonna be getting these. So we're gonna be matching, and that's one of the reasons why I'm taking these specific ones on the trip. But they both have never failed me, and I do love them lots. I also really like to take a tone sketchbook with me in case I wanna make some tonal studies. This one is gonna be great for gouache. This is a Stillman & Byrne Nova series. It's perfect all around to make any graphite drawings before starting a big painting. So this one's gonna be great for that. There really is no right or wrong on which sketchbook to take. Just what I love to recommend is make sure you love using it and you're super excited to paint inside of it. Here are some things that I look for in a sketchbook. Recently, I've been loving to have a large one at home, one where I do studies and sketches, and then others for painting and drawing on location. And that's why it's important to answer what you intend on doing inside so that you also know that the paper type can handle what you intend to paint with. That's really all that matters. Okay, next up, let's talk about my pencil case. So this one I've been going back and forth with specifically over a few years and months. Did make a few changes on the inside. Sometimes I will just take a little clear pouch and throw whatever supplies if I'm at home. But since I am going on a trip abroad and I will be taking a plane and it will be in another country, I want to make sure things are a bit more organized and I have some more things that I would wish to have with me. So here is the inside. It has 2 compartments and it zips up and holds in tight there. The second compartment looks like this, in case you're wondering as to why I made the decision on each tool, because they are my little helpers and they are what I take with me if I just want to throw this in my bag and get to drawing. So let's move our way from left to right, and then I'll go over what I decided to change in the back from my first travel art supplies video, but mostly it's pretty much the same. These things are kind of a staple outline that I gave myself, but I've just been alternating certain ones that I want to try, morph, and they evolve as time goes on as well. But currently, I love this mechanical pencil. On the left side, I have my Pentel mechanical pencil. Then I have a Blackwing Pearl. This one is a great all-around pencil to have, and I just like to draw with it if I'm just doing any graphite. In terms of the next pencil that I have, it's the Staedtler Mars Lumograph. I have this one in a 2H. I love to use this specific one if you've been watching the video to draw anything before watercolor and it doesn't smudge. It's a hard pencil. H stands for hard, and that's just what I absolutely love, and it hasn't changed so far. It's just been my go-to. Up next is the Blackwing Palomino. It is a super nice pencil to draw with when it comes to getting dark graphite. So I just take the little white one and the black one, and these are just my graphites that come with me. When it comes to a blending stump, I take a little one with me because I like to do little value studies on the side when I'm getting my compositions ready. And I also take a little eraser. I do draw with my erasers. That's one of the techniques. So I do have an eraser that is called the Mono Zero by Tombow. And this one gets into the nice crevices in case I have any details I want to erase. Maybe it's like little highlights, little leaves. And this one is just a larger one. It retracts and it's just great to draw with and have a little bit more stability and control when it comes to erasing as a pencil. Just this little tip of holding the eraser goes a long way. The next little section, these are all colored pencils. I like to have a white, and then the colors alternate as time goes on, but I took an indigo by Prismacolor, I took a brown pencil by Faber-Castell, and I also took a red one, more of like a deep burgundy color, to have some things for the terracotta buildings that I'll be. So I'm also making research on where I'm going to see what the colors that I think will be and what I'm going to be more drawn to. And again, I'm someone who things come in the moment and feelings come in the moment as to what to grab. So these things definitely alternate as I'm on location. So I like to have a little bit of variety. Here are some of the ones that I took, but for the times where I want some more brighter colors and a little bit more creamy, I'll show you guys what I included in my little set here, which are the Caran d'Ache Neo Color 2s. So they're nice and bright and I can draw with them. They're great water-soluble, creamy crayon type things, so I'll show you guys that in just a bit. As far as this right side, it's mostly inks and they continue back here, but these are the ones that I've been grabbing most lately that I've been loving, my holy grails, and they have made the cut. So let's go through them. The very first one is the Uniball Air Micro. I absolutely love these. These have been a favorite of mine, and I take them in blue, in red, and in black. They are waterproof and they're just a fun time to draw with, and they are so lovely to have on location. The next ones are the Sakura Identi pens. They're dual-sided, so they have a little bit of a thicker part up here, and then they also have a thinner one back here. I love this color in brown as well, so I took this one. These are the ones that I usually just grab at first. I'm also taking a nice brush pen because sometimes all you need is to grab a brush pen and get some beautiful ink drawings in. This one beautifully comes to a point. This is another pen that I've been loving to draw with. It is not waterproof, but it is a fun time to do some ink drawings in, and I've been on an ink wave lately, but always, as you guys know. And then I also have a Copic multi-liner. I've never used these, but I just got this one for the trip and I am very excited to try it out. It is a 0.3, and then one of my favorites, the Uniball I Fine pen. This one is very, very nice to draw with as well, and it is waterproof, so if I want to go with watercolor on top, it should have no problems. And these are the first row in first inside cover. Before we move on to the back side, a quick intermission and quick word from our sponsors, Squarespace. I've built my website with Squarespace, and it is the all-in-one place for you to display any of your events, share your artwork, manage your shop. Here's a new favorite that you guys have been loving. And check this out, Squarespace allows you to make certain pages and hidden links. So if you scroll all the way down, there's a links page where you can find a bunch of different buttons. And I've curated and made a whole page for my favorite art supplies, so you can just go straight there to find out more. I love that I can also display Patreon tutorials and announcements, and of course, a whole inside look on my sketchbook. Here's a cool one from Italy. And I can't wait to use the travel art supplies in Europe this time. Give it a go and head over to squarespace.com for your free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/JessCarp for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Now back to the pencil case. Super nice and clean. I love this case, even though when you close it, it's just a bit bulky. But the reason why I love it is that when I open it, everything is laid out for me to see. When it's in a box container, things are just like mushed around in there and I have to search for them. So this is just a fast way for me to open, unzip, grab it, draw, and then put it back. And back here, I just added a little bit of a smaller clear ruler just in case I need to do some angles and clean up any parallel lines when it comes to the architecture of wherever I'm at. Okay. Let's move on to the other side, and this is the side where I have some more inks and also the right side that I want to experiment. I like to have each trip to take different art supplies to experiment with, and this time I am going to be taking the Ecoline brush pens. These are really great because they are also water soluble, so I can add water to them, and they're nice and thick. If I want to start with a big value and cover the page, this is a nice, great brush pen to do so. Another great alternative are the Tombow markers because they are thin, but in this case, they do kind of not fit in this case, so I just wanted to try these, and I really like the colors that I chose. So yeah, these are the ones that go on the right side. Dead center, I have my Uni Posca pen because this has been my favorite white highlight, but I also take the Uniball Signo, and this one is really great as well. I just find that sometimes if you don't use it, it does dry out a bit, but this is a brand new one, so it's coming with me as well. Over on this side, I throw in a random colored pen. This one is a lavenderish blue one. So this one is kind of like a spontaneous one in terms of the formula. This one does get changed out. Sometimes it's yellow, sometimes it's bright pink, sometimes it's bright blue, but I decided to go with this lavender color. And then I have my fountain pen, which the only one that I decided to take with me, usually it's the Lamy Safari, but this one is a TWSBI Echo. I love this one. It's been a pleasure to draw with. So that's the one that I went with this time. And then the other little tiny one that I went with is the Coeco Sport. And this is a blue pen. And this one is so compact and so tiny that I sometimes take it out of this case. I literally throw it in my pocket or my bag, and I just take one sketchbook, and this is all that I need to go draw that day. Sometimes I just do this. Here we have a 4-in-1 ballpoint pen, same concept with this one. I'll just throw it in my bag with the sketchbook and I'm on my way to draw. That's all I need sometimes. So I just like to think of versatility and functionality. And so this like middle section are the ones that I would do that with. Same with the Micron. I would just take this little one, throw it in my bag in case I just want to do an ink pen drawing and just go about my sketchbook session so that I don't overcomplicate the supplies that I throw in my bag. Just sometimes that's all you need. And these two are my Muji pens. I absolutely love them. The black one is in 0.38 and the blue one is in 0.5. This is like a deep navy blue and this is a nice black. Super thin little nib on this one, so if I want to do very little detail drawings, that's why I take that one. And the blue is just a beautiful dark blue ink. So depending on my mood that day, that's the one I'll grab. So pretty much a great versatility. There's not much, but there is much, if that makes sense. On these little sides, I keep a kneaded eraser, and I also keep this little tiny sharpener that fits right here, and it is from Muji. I love this one. It does not hold that much eraser shavings, but It's great for travel, and it's a great one to put in your compartment so that it keeps the pencil nice and sharp. I do love the way that it sharpens the pencil, so it's really made for all the graphites and the color pencils that I take with me. And it sits right there. All of this zips up and securely locks just like that. And that is my pencil case. All right, now let's talk about what's inside this clear little bag. This bag is from one of those craft sets that they make for kids, but it's perfect for this because it does open as so, and I'm able to see things nice and clear. I highly recommend a clear case if you can find one. And also, if you are using your sketchbook, it's great to just place on your lap because it also acts as like a board. This is perfect. So let's unravel what's inside this little guy. On the right side, I have my paints, a paper towel, little stack, and the brushes, and a little bit of masking fluid. And on the left, I have a tiny sketchbook, a sponge, some clips, and accessories. I also have little crayons. These are water soluble, a water cup, some chapstick, and what always comes with me is a white tube of gouache. So let's lay this all out for you to see nice and clear. In case you're wondering what paints I'm taking for my watercolor sets, I discovered these little tiny palettes that are super compact by Art Toolkit. They come in different sizes, but they are super flat and small. I'll go through the palette setup in just a bit, but for travel, I think these are excellent. I also have a little spray bottle, some masking fluid, and for my brushes, I have two that I really enjoy for travel size. This is the Escoda Versatile size 12, holds an excellent amount of water and comes to a nice point, but also this one by Escoda as well, size 12, is the Perla, and it is awesome for gouache too. And the trick is to add white gouache and then your watercolors turn into gouache. I've tried a few water brushes, and these are by far some of my favorites. They're by Tombow, and I love that it comes with a tiny brush, a middle brush, and a flat brush. Specifically, I love them because they have this little clip. I can clip it onto the sketchbook and get to painting. Since it's nice and small, I also love taking this viewfinder with me. It really helps find the composition, and it'll be great for demoing when I'm teaching. I also take this collapsible water cup. I know they come in a much slicker design nowadays, but this is just the one that I have. And I also have this little tiny one that I add a magnet on the back, which I'll show for the setup on my plein air painting easel. And it fits right into the other, so I do take both. I think this is pretty much as compact as it's gonna get. And now let me show you the little system of how I package it inside the clear bag. On the right side, I like to put everything like the palettes, the brushes, the masking fluid, and I clip them so that they're easier to grab. And I also made this little swatch sheet that I keep on the back of the palettes for reference. I know these are little details, but these clips are my favorite. And then the rest kind of goes on the left side. The Neocolor crayons go over on the left, and also the paint, the little washi tape, and my small sponge for cleaning, tiny sketchbook, and the water cups. And ta-da, we're good to go. Up next, I want to mention the palettes and the paints that I filled them with. I referenced my holy grail colors that you see me set up, which haven't changed for years, but this time I narrowed it down just a little bit, and here is the palette that I came up with. This is the before, and this is the after. I like that I could rearrange the inside like a little jigsaw puzzle, and it is a bit smaller and more compact than the tin palette, but it has a fairly great mixing area, so I think it'll work awesome. Here's all the colors I chose in case you want to take a screenshot, but I also have a more detailed post up on my Patreon in case you're interested. In this little mini palette, I like to call my experimental one. I intend to make monochromatic paintings with these, and they're essentially desaturated primaries. And there's one more palette that I set up, which are my gouache paints. Here's a before and after. I chose a bit larger but more compact airtight palette. Since I'll be demoing to all the students, I just want to make sure that I have a bunch for what I need. This also keeps the gouache paints nice and wet, and I personally love gouache for plein air. And this brings me to my plein air easel setup. This involves a tripod, some sort of easel box mount, a paint palette, and my roll of brushes. Here's the tripod that I use. It is one of the most compact that I have found, and I have tested about 5 or 6 at this point. This can be a heavy object to carry in travel, but this one is pretty lightweight, and it's definitely smaller in size than my original one. As you can see. Sometimes I'll even pack an extra in my suitcase since I also do film myself. I like to keep my brushes in this canvas roll, and I just pack a few that are more detailed brushes, some round brushes that come to a nice point, and larger flat brushes that I start my paintings out with. A toothbrush for cool textures, but if you're curious on each one of them, you can check out my posts on Patreon. Everything linked below. The brushes themselves roll up and I can just secure them and place them in my bag. But for this trip specifically, I am taking a bit more brushes for demo purposes. When it comes to my easel, I do have my 2. This is a new one that I got, but the one that my dad originally made me is my favorite, since it's our special unique design. But this new pochade box is quite comfortable. It's got some nice mixing area and it places the sketchbook or panel right on top. It's a great compact option, but to be quite honest, I'm still gathering my inferences and conclusions on it, so I will keep you guys posted. Remember, experiment and just find what works well for you, and make sure you enjoy using it. Some artists prefer not to even have an easel and just paint on their lap, so explore for yourself, and this way you can find your preference. This gouache palette is a 24 well airtight compartment palette. It's been lasting me quite some time, and I also give it a nice little spray. I can leave all my tubes of paint at home and then I just close it nice and tight and I can travel with it. If this is just a bit too many wells for you, I'm traveling to teach some workshops, so I do want to have extra colors to show some things with. I recommend checking out this smaller 3-in-1 multifunctional box. It's airtight, it even has a water cup, and it holds 16 colors, which is quite awesome for such a small box. And yeah, here are the supplies for my plein air setup in case I want to set up for a longer painting for a longer period of time. For the easel, you can either stand, or I found this round collapsible chair that you can just open, sit, but this is all personal preference and there are plenty foldable chairs on the market for you to check out. The benefits of standing is you can move around, and the benefits of sitting is you can be more comfy. I personally like to mix both. I also want to show you guys a board that I discovered. It looks like this, and I found it on Amazon. Somebody made these and they come on a Velcro. You can actually curl them in like so. And then wherever you're at, you can have this board. It also comes with clips. So I like to clip my sketchbook on one angle, and then over here, I like to clip my palette. This is just this is just a great material to have, and its only downside is that it's pretty large. So what I might do is create like a string so I can hang it on my shoulder, or I actually have a large enough backpack and tote bag to throw this inside, and then you kind of just carry it like this and you go sketching. I even use this thing at home. I love this option because it is an easel-free option that allows you to just get things out, clip them on, put them on you like this on your lap, and you're ready to start sketching. Pretty great little hack that I found. Love it. And last but not least, let me show you how I package this all in my backpack for travel. Now, when I tell you I tried 6 or 7 different backpacks, since I do have to package camera equipment and art supplies, which is a hard formula to compact into, I think I found the one, since this backpack has a lower compartment that fits my camera and some of my painting equipment. Here I can fit my lenses, my microphones, some of my paints, and this little compartment I keep some of my batteries. It's awesome that it's on the outside so I can keep everything at arm's reach. And this top compartment has so much space to even fit some of my sketchbooks and some of those supplies you saw in the clear bags. Here I keep some hard drives, and it has a bunch of other hidden pockets that you can open with the zipper, and then you have quick access to grab your camera in case I want to take a picture or quickly vlog wherever I'm at. Functionality and easy reach is constantly something that I'm looking for. To fit my tripods, I also have this little side pocket on the right, and then in the back of the backpack there's this large compartment for any extra sketchbooks or laptops that I keep in the back with nice padding. And I was surprised at how much can actually fit in this back compartment. compartment as well. And when I tell you guys I love this backpack, I really, really do. And if you're wondering how on earth I get to fit everything in there, well, let me show you. The clear pouch sits right on top, and I also fit my pencil case in there. I love finding things that are the perfect height for the perfect fit. I also throw the little square sketchbook in there as well, or I fit it in my purse. And for the larger sketchbook, I actually keep it in this back compartment along with my laptop. Just in case, I put my gouaches inside of this clear bag, but I've never had any spillage. But it fits on this top compartment with this little easel box along with the little accessory that I put right behind. Since I record everything myself and document my artworks, my camera comes with me as well, and it fits right there nice and snug. My wireless microphones sit in that little compartment, and I put my onboard microphone right there so that I can reach it nice and quick. These Velcro compartments are all customizable, so I made them custom to my needs. Sometimes I unstick them and move them around as I go. I bring a GoPro as well for some POV shots, so that one sits right there along with all of the batteries. Any extra chargers and wires go in the side compartment, and my extra lens usually sits perfectly in that compartment. And there's a little strap to keep it nice and secure. And can I just say, I'm super proud of myself for figuring this out and finally coming to a nice little system for myself. That is the inside of the backpack, and on the side I fit my tripod. I do bring two. This is a really nice little compact one that I found recently that I've been loving so far. Usually my phone sits on there and I can secure it, and you would be surprised that another one does fit in there as well. And there you have it, my backpack full of art supplies and gear. In case you were curious on how I carry everything, this is how. It does get a tiny bit heavy, but for now, this is as compact and as great as it gets. When I'm not carrying my camera equipment and I'm just going out to sketch, I do just carry a little backpack. I fill it with all of my art supplies that I've mentioned in the video. I like to pick backpacks that have some nice little compartments for all the accessories. I package it and I'm on my way to do some urban sketching. And that's all for today. These are all of my travel supplies that I am taking on my trip to Europe. I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe so you don't miss out on the incredible videos coming up next. Thumbs up this video if you found it helpful. Stay creative, and till next time.